Alright guys, today's video I am going to do a snap-on pliers restoration. It is a vintage snap-on pair of pliers here, so we'll take a look at that. It says Newport, PA. We'll have to take a look at the date code and get in here and clean that all up, and we'll use the fiber wheel and see how that goes, and probably then put it on the polisher. And then I want to share an item I picked up on eBay with you, an SK set of pliers that I had never seen before and I think are pretty unique. So let's take a look at these right now. So in my last video I was telling you about an item that I bid on in eBay, and I was pretty excited to win it, and I went up to pretty much as I needed to go up to win it. This item, completely different story. This item I'd never seen before. It's at SK Pliers. Never seen this type of design before, and it was listed for 38 bucks with free shipping, and there was one bid on it for 38 bucks. So I said, you know, and it was like a week to go or 5 days to go, and I said, I will bid 39. I went up $1 with 5 days to go. No way am I winning this. Sure enough, a few days went by, nobody bid, and boom, I couldn't believe it. I won it. It's one of those things I was like, did I really want to win this? Is this just a gimmicky type item? I didn't know much about it. I did a couple of searches online to see if what I got was worth any value. I mean, I know SK pliers, they're expensive. You know, you try to just buy a regular pair of 8-inch pliers, or I don't know, what size are these, 7, 8 inches? You know, they're going to set you back probably 25 bucks or so for a pair of 7-inch pliers. I didn't know much about it, and I won it, and it just came. So let's take a look at them here. They are really unique. They look like at first glance possibly made by Western Forge. I pulled out some of my old Craftsman ones. This is actually a really nice newer one. I have a couple pairs of these, so this one's like brand new, so I don't really use it. But it looks kind of like that same finish, so I'm thinking maybe Western Forge made these. I do believe recalling at some point that Western Forge made pliers for SK, but I'm not 100% sure, and I find it odd that it doesn't say made in the USA on them. But I mean, look at that. You can bend them up. And that's pretty cool. I like all that piece of it. What's a little weird is like they bend at different angles. So, you know, it feels a little bit clumsy in the hand, to be honest with you. I could see it having an application if you had to work up in a compartment somewhere. You could get in there. It's got nice sharp cutting teeth. I mean, the teeth on it have never been used. They look like they're in pretty good shape. They're not new, obviously. They're lightly used, but if I clean them up, they'll probably look like new. That's the other thing, too. The handles just remind me a lot of the Western Forge as well. So I'm thinking that's probably who made these. They are definitely stout. I mean, they're thick. Here's a standard set of pliers, and look at the thickness of these SK. So they're a heavy set. I always like it when it has the original case. That's always cool. These needle nose also have, I guess they're all 7-inch, but has a nice pair of sharp. Wow, they're sharp too. So if you know, kind of neat. If you needed to get in somewhere, you could use them. They feel a little goofy because they don't go. If they move together, it would almost feel a little bit better. It's kind of weird that one can move and the other one can stay still. So tell me what you think of these. If you had a pair, ever seen them before. The only thing I saw online is they were clearancing these out on one site a while back. They didn't have them available anymore, and they were going for like 20 bucks at clearance. So I don't know how much they cost new. Yeah, sometimes you win something you didn't expect, and that's what happened here. And these, the dikes feel good. They feel nice and sharp. We'll see. I'll clean them up and put them in the box. So, tell me what you think of those, and let's jump into restoring this old set of snap-on pliers. Alright, so let's take a closer look at these before we get into it. As you can see, they got a lot of patina on them. There's some light orange rust in there. If you see there, they say vacuum grip number 47. Looks like it's got a patent on there. It says patent off, U.S. patent off, which is kind of interesting. This has the screw on the back end, or like a little nut, I should say. And that's what makes these a lot easier to restore, because you could get them on, you know, you don't have to worry about getting in there. You don't have to worry about damaging this little, you know, this little rivet here, or this end cap of a screw, I should say. It's not a rivet. And the teeth there, they got some rust in them. We'll have to get in there, brush them, use the wire brush, get in there with a file, definitely on these teeth, the Swiss file. It's got these vacuum grip design here, so those are always a little bit more tricky. You got to get in there. We'll see how the fiber wheel really does on that as well. And let's get into it and open it up using this Knipex. I love this little Knipex. I'm trying not to damage this here. Yep, it's loose, so it's coming out. I think my first step is going to be to run it on the wire wheel and then the fiber wheel, and then we will probably polish it out.
Being new to using the fiber wheel, I started with that, where in the past I would normally use the wire wheel first, and I really was curious to see how it would work. Using it right out of the gate versus knocking off the heavy stuff with the wire wheel. And overall, I was pretty happy with it. But underneath that patina was a lot more pitting than originally expected. So I did that, and then I took it over to the heavy wire wheel to just work the teeth and some of the spots where I just wanted to see if it could get a little bit deeper than the fiber wheel could.
So this is what it looks like after coming off the wire wheel and the fiber wheel. Really didn't use the wire wheel all that much. Mostly the fiber wheel. And as you can see, there's still got some pitting in there. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because I want to take this off on the belt sander, that pitting in here. But then I'm going to have to be able to blend it through this part of the pliers without taking off the actual engraving there that says vacuum grip, and that's going to be the challenging part with this restoration. The parts where there's no engraving, that should come out real nice on the belt sander. The fiber wheel does take out the real minute pitting, but anything deeper than that's going to need to go on the belt sander. So let's give it a whirl.
I basically used 2 belts for this project, 120 grit, nice fresh one to take off the heavier pitting, and then I used one that was more worn out to go over the part where it said snap on and vacuum grip, and try to blend in the pitting the best I could. I also used a 120 grit flap disc on my angle grinder, as well as a Dremel tool with some grinding discs to get in the tough spot, and a wire wheel as well. Here you see me using a little cutting compound on the buffing wheel, and I just basically went back and forth several times doing that.
Alright guys, this is what it looks like when it's all finished. I was able to blend a lot of the pitting in, just a little bit there. You can see I just couldn't get out. Same thing on this side. I just did not want to take the logos off. That is obviously the most important thing, being that this is a vintage pair of pliers. Happy though overall with the way they came out. Underneath the patina though, there was just so much pitting on the inside of these. It's a lot more work than I originally thought. I thought the fiber wheel would make pretty quick work of it, and as it turned out, I had to get all the pitting out of all of these spots with the belt sander without taking too much off. It's kind of that delicate balance. Did polish it out a little bit. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the way they came out. They work great. I feel like the teeth came out real nice, as you can see there. I was able to file them for a pair that's this old. And I'll tell you how old it is. Right there is the date code. That's 6. That means 1946 when you look these up. So for a pair of 1946 pliers, vacuum grip, they came out pretty nice, and I'm happy with the way they came out. I don't think I'll really use them all that often. More just kind of be a conversational type piece. So let's wrap this video up, because I'm really excited to jump into my next project. I started ripping apart my drill press last night. Maybe at the end of this video, if it's not too long, I'll throw in a little bit of footage from that process. And I also got a big box of tools in the mail from my dad that I want to dig through. So really want to wrap this one up and move on. let's wrap it up. Okay, so there is those SK pliers in my pliers drawer. And as you can see, when they're in the case, they take up a lot of space. So I picked up one of these racks up here, the US General wire rack with 30% off. It only cost me $7 and don't love it. I bought 2 of them. I'm only using one of them currently because I found it only to really work well with the wider handled stuff. Maybe if you used it in the deeper box, the deeper draw. This is only the 2.5-inch draw on the toolbox. So, you know, I used the wider handle ones with the pliers with insulation on them. Vice grips fit really well in there. I used it to kind of hold those pliers shut. So as you can see there, I got 2 sets of pliers in there. Those are the long reach pliers, and if they're open, they'll be sprung open. So I just kind of holds them in there, picked me up a little bit of space, and there are the Snap-on pliers in their new home next to a lot of their brothers and sisters. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, I got a big box of tools here, and I'm working on ripping that drill press apart. There's the motor right there. I got that out of it. And stay tuned. Thanks for watching.